Hello out there, everybody, in Spec Ed 2. This is Matt Arnold coming to you again on a beautiful, well, sort of beautiful Saturday morning after a great swim and getting donuts for the kids. And today I'm going to be talking about safe and caring schools. Safe and caring schools. So we're looking at an aggressive student who is aggressive toward peers and staff in the program or the school. We are considering the policies that address safety and discipline in our school board and faculty, and providing examples that would include a team approach to programming for students' strengths, needs, and address student safety. So I'm going to walk you through this video on finding and retrieving some of the policies that have to do with this particular scenario. So to start, our team-based approach would include the framework for promoting positive student behavior from the Caring and Safe Schools document that was provided for us on the discussion module. Our first step is initiated by the classroom teacher who identified the student escalating situations in the classroom. The steps involved would be: number 1, understanding student behavior; number 2, knowledge of strategies and resources; and number 3, implementation of a progressive discipline approach. I will attach the progressive discipline form, a mock one of course, without any real names or places on it, to this post so you can get an idea of what it looks like in the Upper Grand DSB. Now specifically in the Upper Grand DSB, you can see that I have opened the page on Policy 503, Safe Schools. Policy 503, Safe Schools. There is also a web page called Safe, Equitable, and Inclusive Schools, which I referred to in another post and another discussion that you can find on the Upper Grand District School Board website. So, fun little piece of digital pedagogy here, folks. When I am referring to web pages and websites, I make it very specific to students that this is a page within a site, and then they show them a textbook. And I say, okay, think of the textbook as a web site, and think of a particular page that you flip to as a web page. That makes it a lot easier when we're doing, say, a Noodle Tools lesson, where I can lead them through how to enter a source in Noodle Tools. Alright, so Policy 503. Policy 503. There is also Policy 408, and Policy 408 Section 2 outlines specifically the procedures surrounding harassment in the workplace. So that is the violence and harassment policy. That's Policy 408 for the Upper Grand District School Board. And the reason that I can so easily lead through these particular pieces is because I, in fact, do a lesson in my workplace law class that talks about violence and harassment and empowers students to know what their rights and responsibilities are under the policies in the Upper Grand District School Board, which is really handy because many of the students that have gone through my class for workplace law have in fact had some experience with violence and harassment themselves. So they in fact have their own behavioral intervention plans. Here we go, here's Policy 408, which is harassment in the workplace. And this goes on to talk about progressive discipline as well, and there's a certain section in here, which is Section 2. Now this is another fun digital pedagogy piece, folks. Control and the letter F gives a pop-up on your screen in a PDF document, so if you're in your class, this is a super handy research tool that you can show your students. And what I do is I type in the word progressive, and although it's not in this policy, it would be in Policy 503, which I'm going to open here. Control and the letter F and progressive. There we go. There are two instances of the word progressive in this document, which is the UGDSB Safe Schools document. Go down to here, and progressive discipline. Okay. The next piece of legislation that we can look at, and again we're going to use the Control F search for that, is if we click on the Education Act and Control and the letter F within the Education Act, I know that the word progressive is down here under Section 6, Sub A, Sub 3. Section 6, Sub A, Sub 3. And the next piece that we look for is expulsion or suspension. Expulsion or suspension. We can see that activities leading to possible suspension are in Section 306 of the Act. And Control F again and type the word expulsion, and we see that Section 310. Okay. So again, under Policy 503, it is quoted that the Upper Grand DSB, the board supports the use of positive practices, including the prevention and early intervention, as well as consequences for inappropriate behavior. This includes progressive discipline and suspension and expulsion where necessary. However, before applying disciplinary measures, the discriminatory and disproportionate impacts of disciplinary decisions on students protected by the Human Rights Code shall be considered. So that is taken directly from Policy 503. These documents will be included in the sources. All right. Specifically referring to my document that I created for the student, which is the Behavioral Mental Health Plan. You can find the link to that on this post as well. Thanks very much for listening to the video. I tried to keep it a bit shorter than other times, and if you have any questions, please send me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.